Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm bringing to you a small tutorial just going over the basics of Postman, which is like the best API tool you can have. I actually used to use another one called Insomnia, but I switched over to Postman for several reasons, and I'll go over them throughout the video. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest content and videos. And if you got value from this video, make sure you smash that like button at the end. Now, let's get on with it. So this is Postman, and I use this to organize and test my REST API endpoints, and it does a phenomenal job. So right away, once this is open, you'll notice over here we have collections. So the way it works is, let's say you have a project and it has multiple endpoints, and you got to keep hitting those endpoints to do tests on them. So that would be put into basically a collection, all your endpoints for that specific project, and it might as well say projects. So over here we have collections. So I already have one collection built for a project that I'm currently working on for someone. It's an API for their ecom dash, and inside of my project folder you can see all of my different requests. I have a few gets and a few posts in here as well. But if you need to create a new collection for your project, you just click over here on new collection, and we could do like test collection. You could put a description. Then you have other options here, authorization. I'm not sure what this does. It'll be used for every request. Okay, so this is cool. You can set authorization for every request in your, for all your requests in this collection. So if I have, if all of my endpoints are secured and I have to authorize myself, you can set that here, and it'll apply itself to all of your endpoints. That's pretty cool. So you don't have to worry about putting it in every single request that you make. So this will handle that for you. You can run scripts before the request gets sent out. You do tests, and you can use environment variables or set variables here for your collection. But we just got a basic test collection here. We're going to create this. So here's our test collection. Now I want to add a request to this collection so we could start testing our endpoints. This is very handy because when you need to test your endpoints, having to go in and type them out every single time and fill in your headers, your parameters, your body data, it's a lot of work. So this actually just takes care of all that for you and keeps you organized basically, and it makes testing with REST API super simple. But you have little options over here, and these are all your options for your collection. And by the way, you can export and import collections. You can actually export this as I believe it exports as a JSON file. Let's save it to documents. Yes. So that is going to be a JSON file right here. We have that ready to go. And then if you open it up on another machine, or you put it in your GitHub project, that way whenever you move, or if somebody else wants to get it on your project and they need the configuration, do some testing on the API, then you have the file there for them, and they can import it in. And you can go up here and just import, and it will import your collection in, and it'll have all your requests ready to go, just like it says on the machine here. But anyways, we're going to add a request, and this is just a test request. I'm actually going to copy information from one of these ones just to make it simple. And down here you can see that it has the collection already selected. This is where that test will go. But if you click here and go back, these are, you can pick what collection you want your request to go into. We're going to do test collection. That's already correct. So you can save it. And then here's our request. It's a GET request, okay? Over here, I'm just going to copy this URL, build this up, and I have my query parameters in the URL already, and you'll see they're right here, and that automatically fills out this params stuff here. And I like it when you get to see your parameters like this, because it makes it really easy to add it without having to add it to the URL up here. You know, so if we got rid of the quantities, you just add it here. And it automatically types up here for you. That's pretty cool. Authorization, if you need to send some authorization, in this case we don't, but you have choices. You can do API key, a bearer token, OAuth, basically all the standard authorization options. You have your headers, and in this case we are doing searching by product ID, so that's this one right here. I do have headers with an authorization key. That's right here. I'm just going to copy these and show you how easy it is to set my headers. So first of all, I'm going to set my content type, and it already knows what what I could type in here. So it would be expecting any of these. So I can go ahead and hit content type, and that actually automatically fills it out for us, which makes things so much easier. Same goes for here as well. And then we could do our authorization. This also picks up that that might be what it is. And we'll paste in our token here. Let's see. And this is where you would put your body. So if you had a request body to put in, which I don't for this route, but over here I'll show you that because I do use it in one of these. But you have your options here. You have form data where you can type in your field and then the value. More form URL encoded. We have raw, and you can also do GraphQL queries and mutations in this Postman now, which is really cool, making it super simple. I still think the playground is the easiest way to go, but this makes it pretty awesome. You can even sync up your schema for your GraphQL schema, and it'll hit this endpoint, and it will sync my schema for me, and I'm sure it will automatically fill out my values. I'll go over that in another video of using a GraphQL endpoint, but as of right now I don't have one for here. But anyways, that's all set. We have our parameters. We're searching for this by supplier product ID. We're including quantities, and up here at the top you can, so we have it. This is, if you need to edit your name, you can come up here, click this pencil, and you can edit your name. But we're going to save this, and that's just basically going to save everything that we have put in right now. So if we send this, we're going to go ahead and send out the request, and ooh, we got invalid parameters sent. Query is not an allowed parameter. Let's go over to params, and where do I have query? Oh, maybe that was it. Okay, I accidentally left the GraphQL query box checked, which messed it up. So over here, this is our response. Now we have we got a 200 okay response. This tells you the time it took, this is really cool and helpful, especially if you're doing performance testing. You want to make sure that your API is fast and that you're getting information back in a timely manner. So this one took 1433 milliseconds and gives you the size. And you can even save the response to a file if you want. But this is our response. It shows up in JSON format. You know, it's already pretty, but you can do a raw preview. And you can also check out what cookies you got back, headers, and test results is another thing. So let's do a test. Let me show you what this is. Now up here at the top, like we already went over params, authorization, headers, and body. pre-request script is one thing that you can use in tests. So if I want to run a test, we have some examples over here of snippets for tests. So let's see, what are our options? There's one here for response time. This one says response time is less than 200 milliseconds. Now that's pretty low, and we got back 1433 here. So I'm gonna put 2000 milliseconds, and then I'm gonna save it. And then now if I send it, we have our test results 1 out of 1. So we have passed. We officially passed. Response time is less than 200 milliseconds, and that comes from this title right here. So let's put one for actually 200 milliseconds and see if we get a pass or fail. And we failed, because again we're at 870, so this will tell you that you failed the test. Now that's pretty cool, and you have a lot more other snippet options over here. And I'm sure if you search online and go to the documentation, you can find some like custom tests that you can run against your API. But that's that's just the basics for running a basic GET request, and the options that are available to you in Postman. Up here you can do cookies, where you can actually set cookies for your application. And code, this will give you your request in code. So if you needed this to be in like Node.js, you can click here and it will give you it in Node.js format. Or if you needed it in PHP using curl, you can get it here. And that's it for a basic GET request. I mean, this is pretty simple. This tool makes things so easy for you to organize all your REST API information, or your GraphQL API information, and have it all in one spot and organized. So every time you have to have a test, you don't have to type in a new URL or a new parameter. So let's look at some of the ones I have over here. This is a post request. So you see here I got post. These are your different options. You could do a put, patch, delete, copy, all your request options that you can imagine, they have it in here. So we're going to do a post request here. We're hitting this get products, and in this one I do have a body. So if you notice, I have raw selected because this lets me put the raw JSON in here. Searching for a SKU, and this is what I'm searching for. I have my headers set. In this case I have two token headers for this specific request, but just like how it is on the oh, there's some hidden ones here too. You can view all the ones that come by default. Hide those. Just like how it is with the other one for the GET request, the only difference is post request, and I have a body in this one. Send this, and I get back my response here. You get back HTML. Just JSON is what I want. And you can look at all your headers that came back with it, which also comes in handy, especially a lot of times if you're dealing with stuff that you need to pay attention to the headers and what's being returned, and or you're trying to diagnose something with the headers. But that's it, guys. That's up here at the top. As far as for requests, get, and post, and the options that are available to you, that's basically it in a nutshell. I try to make things simple. I don't want to go too crazy and off into too many details, but this is foundational to keep yourself organized when you're dealing with REST APIs or GraphQL APIs, and you want just one spot to go where you can run all your tests. And I'm going to put out another video on more advanced parts of Postman. For example, they have this APIs option over here where you can actually build out your own API. You could create like a schema for your API using OpenAPI. Click here, new API, and this lets you build out your own API using OpenAPI 3.0. You can do 2.0. You use GraphQL. So I'll put out a whole nother video on that. And then you have your collections over. I'm sorry, we're already there. We have history over here, which is all your requests that you've ran. It shows you the history of everything that you've run. And then you have a ton of settings up here. If you go to settings, there's so many settings up here. Themes, we could even get a dark theme. I'm using the light theme in this example because it's easier to read for you guys to present. And that's all I got for you guys today on this video for Postman. Postman, like I said, I switched from Insomnia to Postman, and the biggest reason was because Postman handled. I was testing an API that I was sending a huge amount of information to base64 string, a document, a PDF document. And every time I put that string in Insomnia, it would slow it down tremendously and essentially freeze and crash the whole application. So when I came over to Postman and I put that same base64 string in to send it over, it didn't freeze, it didn't slow down, nothing. The RAM didn't jump up, everything was stable and normal. And obviously I think Postman handles it in a different way. They process that information differently than Insomnia did. So I also noticed that Postman is easier to use and it makes things more organized for everything, for all your requests. It's way easier to use. The interface is so much more simple and cleaner. So I stuck with Postman, and there's a ton of more options in Postman compared to Insomnia, in my personal experience. So that's all I got for you guys today. Stay tuned. I'll put out another video going into more in-depth detail, going into creating your own API, and even code runners. There's you can run your collections. We'll go into that, and then there's some tricks you can do where you can export your collection from Postman and do load testing with a third-party application. So thank you for watching this today. I hope that you got value out of this video. And again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for all the latest videos and content. And smash that like button if you like this video. Take care.